Hey, future emeralds. All right, so here we are, a push to emerald. How freaking cool, right? I was super honored whenever Stacy and Victoria asked me to hop in here and just kind of share some of my brain. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna do. My best tips, I guess, so to speak, for rising emeralds. Um, I guess it's kind of more like a brain dump, but just some, whenever Victoria and Stacey asked me to pop in here and present for you guys, I just kind of sat down and did, you know, train of thought and was just writing stuff out. And so I could kind of be all over the place, but it's just stuff that was on my heart. And I feel like it's important for new business owners to hear. So you've probably seen me say I've been a coach for 3.5 years. And there's so many moving pieces to being a successful coach. But probably I would put the two biggest components down to time and consistency, right? And then, of course, ultimately taking responsibility for your own business. It's nice because we have these amazing teams, you know, from Team Live Long and Prosper to all the downline teams to upline teams like Alive and Well and TK Life Inspiration. So we've got like some good like coaching like genealogy. And so we have all of these tools that are continually laid out for us, continually provided to us by coaches that are successful and they're willing to share it all. So it's, you know, I've said it a few times in the past month, I feel like, but like, you know, we show up and we give our coaches the hammer, right? But they are the ones that have to use it. So Tony Robbins, one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins is that it's not the lack of resources that's the problem for most people. It's the lack of resourcefulness. So it's not that they can't get the information or that, you know, they don't know where to look. People have the resources, they just don't have the resourcefulness to use it. So I just want to encourage you guys, all of this stuff that is out there for you in regards to materials and trainings, take advantage of them, use them. Of course, you know, you don't want to be doing training after training after training and never actually working your business. It's so important to just start and do those trainings and plug into those calls whenever you can. Don't feel like you have to know everything, but when there's a tool right in front of you and you have the means to use it, pick it up and put it to work. Sean T, I think it was last year. Yeah, last year at Summit, Sean T was like one of the keynote speakers. And basically his message was to face your shit and not to waste your pain. And he was talking about the show. I'm not sure what show it was, but where I guess what happened in people's lives, like somebody else could like put it on the TV and watch it. So like if something happened in your life and it was like committed, you know, to your memory, like you could project it onto the TV and like show your significant others. Like, I don't know, it sounds whack. I haven't heard of the show, but so like his example was like this couple was having this argument and they were like, oh really, that happened, put it on the TV, put it on the TV, let me see. So basically it was forcing people to live in a glass house. So part of Sean T's message was to live in a glass house, to really do the things that you say that you're doing. And we're not just talking about, you know, like you're saying that you're doing these things to other people. with yourself. Like have that point of honesty with yourself. You know, I I always talk about, the power hour, how each little component is so easy. Friend requesting 10 people or whatever your number is, 20 people, whatever that is, friend requesting that amount of people every single day is so easy to do, right? It takes 3 minutes. But it's so easy to do that it's so easy not to do. And it's going to compound, and you get to choose the direction that it compounds. So it's either going to compound because you keep doing them, or it's going to compound because you're not doing it, and it just gets easier and easier not to do it, right? So, have you ever seen like a 3-year-old or a 7-year-old, like whenever you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, and they're like super excited, and they're telling you about it, and they're animated, and they're really passionate about it. Like they are so passionate about it that like you think that they could have been doing this for 20 years already, and they're experts, and they just love it. And think back to that passion that you had whenever you were 7 or whatever it was, and you were telling your great aunt how you wanted to be a professional cowgirl or whatever it was. Like that's what coaching is for me. And so, it's so important to find that passion zone and live in it, live right there. So for me, I love part of the business that I really love is the training and like the team building side. I really love that. And I actually have a background in health and fitness, which of course is not a prerequisite for being a coach, and that's not actually normal by any means. But so I do have this lifelong love of health and fitness, and it's helped me chisel out, not only my why, which of course is always changing as I reach those goals, but my purpose and my mission statement. And those are things that all kind of they're in my passion zone, right? And it's cool because Beachbody can be, so much more than just your business. It can be this outlet that allows you to do the other things in your life that are part of your passion zone, like I have coaches that love Beachbody. They want to be a full-time Beachbody coach, or they are a full-time Beachbody coach, but they also really love yoga. And before Beachbody, they really wanted to do like a yoga teacher training, but they couldn't because it was expensive and they didn't have the time and blah, blah, blah. And so, but now as full-time coaches, that's something that, that Beachbody, it's an outlet that they've been able to explore because of Beachbody and because of the opportunity. So think about your passion zone. Think about where that is for you. Think about what parts of you are asleep. You're not just a Beachbody coach. You are a full, well-rounded person. And you get to be that on social media. You don't have to be just a Beachbody coach. I think I missed part of what I was wanting to say about Sean T. So he was saying, face your shit, don't waste your pain. And he kind of like dropped this bombshell on stage at Summit. He said, whenever I was a little boy, I was molested almost nightly. And he's like, but for me, my pain was that I was a child and I was molested, but I enjoyed it. So like for him, he knew that it felt wrong, that he shouldn't enjoy it. Obviously at the time, he probably didn't know that he was gay, but this was like this real painful memory for him. And, so I just loved his message of, not to waste your pain. It's not that you have to spread your business all over social media, because you don't. There's so many different ways to tell a story and to draw a lesson from everything. Sorry, I was thinking a lot about Summit this past week because it's coming up. And so I was looking through my notes last week from last Summit. And of course, Gary Vaynerchuk was there. If you haven't read any of Gary Vaynerchuk's books, you need to. He's amazing. Follow him on social media. And he said, he has this book, by the way, it's really great, called Jab, 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 Right Hook. So check that out if you haven't. Um, he said, what most entrepreneurs, why most entrepreneurs don't succeed is because they have a lack of patience. So they want this like jet setting, multi six figure lifestyle. They want the social media following. They want the private jet or the house or the boat or whatever it is that, people want. They have these ideas of what they'll do whenever they're successful, but their actions don't line up with their goals, which obviously is a big problem. And they'll be like, oh, I've been trying to do this for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or a year or 18 months, and I'm still not a millionaire, which is crazy, right? Like you wouldn't expect to graduate college and go get a job as a CEO of a corporation. What's cool is you are the CEO of your business, but you still have to build it, right? So, um, and when it comes to building a business, it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and sometimes the people that you think are going to be the ones to support you aren't. And build it anyway. Whenever it gets tough, like lean in, and just face whatever it is that you are facing in your business or in your personal life, and use it. Lean in and build it anyway. It all has to do with your cycle of belief. You will encounter failure. So anticipate it and embrace it. It's all part of growth. And it's part of building a business. And you guys, it is so worth it. I read a book at the beginning of this year called The 12-Week Year. And in it, he talks about greatness in the moment. And this was probably one of my biggest takeaways from this book. Greatness in the moment, right? So, I have built a solid business in the past 3.5 years. But I remember the point where I was sitting. I remember the thought process that I had whenever I decided there was no plan B. There was no 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I kind of hope this works. I'll kind of try. And it's kind of like, it's easier for us to be like, oh, I'll kind of do this because it's easier on the ego whenever, maybe it doesn't go as planned. And we're like, oh, well, I wasn't really trying that hard anyway, so that's okay. Next. But, whenever you pour your heart and soul into it and you go all in, and then like you have a setback or a failure, you're like, I feel that because it's personal. I hate the saying, it's not personal. I think it's the silliest thing ever because it's all personal. Like business is personal, life is personal, like life is personal. So, it doesn't mean that, you have to let everything wound you, but life is personal, you guys. So he's talking about in the book greatness in the moment. So that moment where I was sitting at my computer and I had my first few no's trickling in, and I was like, man, it's gonna be harder than I thought. There was greatness in that moment because I was like, you know what, I am going to build this. I'm going to continue to build this. And every single time that I fail, I'll just take it as a lesson, learn from it, grow from it, and get back up. And that's what I've done. I've failed so many times. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying, like, I've helped produce 5 diamonds in my time as a coach, and I've never been a 5-star. Like, I could look at that as a failure, or I could be like, hey, I've helped 5 people like lay the serious bones of a big organization. Um, so back to greatness in the moment. So, the greatness wasn't achieved, on my first $6,000 month. The greatness happened way before, in that moment, whenever I said, okay, like, this is it. This is the moment from here on forward where I'm just going to build it anyway. I'm just going to lean in and show up. Um, so, you have to cast your vision and just believe in where you're going. Um, you know, uh, for me, I always get asked a lot of questions about like cold messaging and stuff like that, because that's like that scary thing that nobody wants to do. I honestly don't cold message. I definitely overcompensate in building relationships in my social media. Um, I am relentless on my social media. Monday through Friday, I am posting on all my pages at least 3 to 5 times a day. On the weekends, 2 to 3 times a day. And I'm constantly talking to my avatar. And then, I'm overcompensating in building relationships and just being a real human. I still do the hey girls and all of that to get wheels turning. But I never do any cold messaging. So I want you guys to realize that this is your business and you can make it work for you. So ask yourself, what is painfully obvious, or what is painfully normal about you? Is it that you hate laundry, or that you love crafting, you love donuts, or you're obsessed with being a dog mom and your favorite color is pink? Whatever it is, what is painfully normal about you? My thing is I'm a terrible gardener. I use the hashtag Adventures of a Bad Housewife as part of my brand. So I just have like this list of things that I'm constantly sharing about me. Also, you guys might want to be just like writing these down so you can go fill it in later. What have you overcome? So is it debt? Is it anxiety? Is it weight loss? Is it health issues? Feeling lost? What is it that you've overcome? And what makes you special and unique? So, I always like to, sometimes during the week, I'll kind of screenshot like my Instagram or my pictures on my pages, just so I can kind of go back and look and analyze what I'm posting and how I'm adding value to my brand. Can they look at my last 6 posts and say, oh, she has something to offer? You don't have to be a carbon copy of Victoria or of Stacy or of me. You get to be you. That's why your customers and your coaches are going to choose you, because you're you. You're not us. If it's easier for you to kind of track your content, work from lists to make posts. Your 5 non-fitness things that you're about, post about those every week. Take the opportunity to use your own voice and kind of sprinkle in your story a little bit every day. So let's see, I shared my favorite Tony Robbins quote. You guys have any questions for me? Like, let me know, comment in here and I will comment back. I'm so excited to see some bright and shiny new emeralds popping this week. And Victoria and Stacy are amazing leaders, and you guys, like, they are your hammer. Like, use them. They're such a good resource. So yeah, there we have it. My kind of brain dump best tips for rising emeralds. All right, you guys. See ya.